You guys are too reactionary. Jimmy Garoppolo is still trash playing against Nomack and bailed out by either Kittle or Debo. Watch him be injured for the Rams game.
I don't
Ninebot.
think we by no means are we perfect, but we never
Yeah, by
said
no
that
means.
Jimmy.
Ninerbot's usually the one defending Jimmy Garoppolo. It's weird to see people change their allegiances sometimes. But Ted H. Whoo! Seeing him now, it's like, man, what happened to you, dude? I could have respected you in the past. At least anyway. No, I like Ted H. I'm just kidding. Jody says we always talk about Niner picks. Is it me or do they seem to do well picking running backs? Well, don't tell it to Trey Sermon or Joe Williams. They do. Yeah. It's after round 5 that they do well.
No. They picked one. The rest have been free agents or unsigned free agents. Chip Kelly signed Raheem Mostert. Matt Breida was an undrafted free agent. Coleman was a free agent.
Where is Sermon? Who? I've never heard of this guy.
If you go to the church, you might find a sermon.
Yes, you're looking. That was yesterday. Is Debo a top 5 wide receiver in the league? Sorry, joined in late. Don't know if you've covered it yet. Love the coverage from both of you. He convinced me top 10, although we didn't go through and name people. What about top 5? Not yet. He's got to stop dropping the ball. I mean, he has these games where he wins the game for you, and it's like, well, the drops didn't hurt you, but like, it's just a bad look to lead the league in drop.
To me, top 5 means you go to the double whammy. You're a freaky athlete and you're a fantastic, polished receiver. Devontae Adams, also DeAndre Hopkins,
part of being a number 1 receiver is like on that gotta have it play, 3rd and 11 with the season on the game on the line. Like he did it on 3rd and 20, of course, but in a different way. Usually, like, can I throw it to you, pass the sticks on this down, and feel like you're going to get open and catch it?
Yeah.
He's not quite there yet.
I think in their gotta have it situation, they're going to get him the ball, but in the gotta have it situation, is it just going to be
it's more like a
one-on-one
thing
for Debo, throw it up for him?
That's just not really his thing. Kiefer, thank you. Was it me or Jimmy threw with quicker release? Yeah, he looked very confident because I think when he realizes that he's getting good offensive line play that day, you can see his whole confidence swells.
So, Grant, I don't think his release was quicker, right? His release has always been special. One thing I did notice is I thought the ball was coming out with a little more juice than it usually does.
Yeah. Maybe it's because he was back in Chicago in front of his.
I don't know, but look, like Justin Fields, right? Obviously has a way stronger arm than Garoppolo, but there were times when Garoppolo was ripping it intermediate, where when you saw both ball speeds, it didn't feel like Fields was throwing rockets and Garoppolo was throwing little badminton things.
Jimmy had all day in the pocket won't be that way. Yeah, for whatever reason, the Niners' offensive line really was good in pass protection. Khalil Mack wasn't there, but there were other guys.
They had a great game.
They did. Just praise your players, Kyle, especially when we win. Save the by no means was it perfect for later in the week after you watch the film. Yeah, he needs to just strike. It's negative. And we know that it's not perfect. Everyone knows it's not perfect. You don't have to remind us.
It's just funny to me because when somebody asks him to assess his own performance, he never uses the by no means was it perfect. He says, there's some things you, of course, want to take back. There's some things that you always want to look at. But I usually assess everything. I know everything. Oh, I already covered that. I thought about that. Yeah.
Right. I'll say it again. Get Bills number 2 as GM with personnel power, mainly because the Bills maintain a healthy roster. Maybe he lets Kyle stay. Yeah, that's the thing. I think if the Niners brought in a strong general manager, a lot of guys would want to keep Kyle. The question is, would Kyle want to work with said player, said guy? That's the issue. And
I don't think you need even a strong general manager with cachet, right? You just need somebody else who has as much experience in the business, not someone who's a broadcaster and is learning the business, that can constantly check Kyle Shanahan and really force him to tell you why this is the correct decision. Why do we have to trade 3 picks for Ayuk?
I would imagine that McVay has to do that when the Rams make a move. I would imagine that Sean
Payton has to convince his owner
when the Saints
make
a move. You don't just.
Colin Cowherd was telling a story about how McVay had to really convince Stan Kroenke, that doing all of this, trading Goff for Stafford, is the correct move. I feel like Jed York lets John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan run the organization. And I think where the issues come in is, I'm not saying, like, John Lynch is his own human being. I'm sure he has his own thoughts, all of that. I think he feels like it's his job to try and do what Kyle Shanahan wants for him to be able to and get him what he wants and what he needs, rather than to, ask him the right questions. Like, okay, Kyle, you want to trade up a month before the draft 3 first-round picks. Who's your guy? What's your plan for this guy? How are you going to develop this guy? To me, you have to have every single one of those answers before you go make a move. And sometimes I sometimes the vibe I get from Kyle Shanahan is he feels like he doesn't have to give anybody those
Right.
answers because they're somewhere in his head and
Right.
he's going to find it. But I do think that in any sort of business, for it to be successful, for anybody but to be successful in anything, you do need someone to challenge you and ask you these questions so that you can be 100% sure of every decision you make.
Debo's an amazing football player. He's the best number 2 in the league. He's not a number 2. He's a number 1. He could be a better number 1. He's not that go get it number. We just said that. It's true. He's a different style, and I think he is an amazing gadget. But he does make really tough catches. I think he has it in him. I think he can take
He,
his game to another level, and he's already a top
he
10
He's the
ish.
number one.
Yeah.
Agreed. He's the number one weapon on this offense, and it's been this way since like the sixth game of his rookie year.
I think Niner fans would have loved to see Trey Lance progress in the way Fields showed yesterday. I think so too. Watching Fields, I mean, he really has improved in the last month, and he
Grant,
lost, but he looked really good. I mean, if you put
the
him up,
rushing touchdown.
if you gave him Debo and Elijah Mitchell,
The rushing touchdown. Everybody was ready to tweet like, "Oh, they should have played better defense. They should." I mean, Grant, because we were both there in person. It felt like he just was a different caliber athlete than them.
in person, I felt it was one of the most impressive quarterback runs I'd ever seen in person. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure
just it was just like toying with people. It's like, oh nope, not there. I'm not. We suck
and
at
his accuracy, Grant. I mean, it stands out on film, but his down the field accuracy is really special, and he does have a very tantalizing combination of that athleticism
he just
and
forced that
excuse
one
me, that
throw at the end
accuracy.
when they should have been taking shots earlier in the game, and I put that on the coach. I mean, he did a good job, but it was a very conservative game plan, and they had to take a shot at the end. The Niners knew it, and he forced it. But other than that, I thought he was taking what the defense gave him. He was accurate and he was fast. We got to finish up real quick because Shanahan talks in 4 minutes. We suck at draft. Why not trade some for some young players? That's what we talked about at the beginning. You might want to go back to the beginning and watch that because we were really comparing what the Rams did to what the Niners do. Grant, did you take Vish out to dinner to celebrate his graduation? Are you graduating? It's not yet.
No, I don't graduate
No, I
until
actually
May.
didn't see Vish there. I took Vish out a couple months ago and he's coming out this weekend. I'm going to see him. I just whiffed on that. It was hard. Dude, I've been up since
Our schedules didn't line
hard.
up, and
Yeah.
I've had a lot of homework, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff I need to finish so that I can go on vacation.
Yeah,
This
these
next
these, these
weekend,
work
so,
trips are
yeah.
they're really hard. It's like you have a couple hours Saturday night to hang out, and if you miss it, it's hard. But next weekend, after his run, I said, man, if we only had a mobile quarterback like Fields, oh wait, hilarious.